Hey folks, Landstryder here, and this is episode 43 in season 3 of my Nightmare series. I'm in the Crash Landing mod pack by s3e43. This pack's available on the Feed the Beast launcher. And don't forget, if for all Crash Landing information, be sure and check out s3e43's new website, link in the description. So, last episode I kind of left out in the middle of updating all the automations to the base. So, let's take a quick look at what I got done between episodes. Mainly, I added a bunch of recipes. So now the alloy smelter knows how to make pyrethrum dust. That's a special recipe that I added. It's much more expensive than the standard recipe, but it allows you to kind of like use materials that you might not necessarily have a great use for otherwise. Being fire charges, it takes 2 coal powder and more redstone than the standard recipe, but it allows you to craft it in a machine. The next thing that I added was fluxed electrum, so that it can do that, and derium ingots, so I can craft those. Charcoal, because I'm going to need a lot of that, and of course quite clear glass, which can then knows how to turn that quite clear glass into standard glass. So basically just a quick way to make glass without having to switch the modes on this machine, so it can stay in alloy, or so it can stay in all smelting mode. What else did I do? I added the resonant ender bucket and the fluxed electrum blend to that crafting interface down there, which, remember, that's what connects to these two machines via a chest and some conduits, item conduits. So we look back here, we can kind of see that down through all the pipework and stuff down through there. But yeah, so yeah, the AE system now knows how to craft fluxed electrum blend and buckets of resonant ender, which it then can use to make that electrum blend. So to help that out, I've gone ahead and taught it that it can grind up tin and shiny metal in the sag mill, as well as make the charcoal powder, which it needed for some other recipes. So then, what else did I do? Oh yes, most importantly, I added the 3 recipes to the pressure chamber interface that tells it how to make the unassembled PCBs, transistors, and capacitors, which are going to end up coming back into the system right here. The unassembled PCBs first come out as blank PCBs that go into that filing cabinet, go through the assembly line, and then end up back in the system right there. So now the system should be able to craft me all the different circuits. And if we look down here again, we can see that here's where it knows how to make the printed circuit board, which it needs to make all these PRC circuit boards, which are used in the various other recipes, a lot of various other recipes. Then it can also take that a step further and make the processors and encoding or conversion matrix for conditional ME stuff. And then I've also taught it, because I'm going to need quite a few interfaces. I've taught it how to make some interfaces. So let's take a quick look up here. I've got this ready to go, kind of this back in this little area. I've connected over here. I can actually take that chest out now, I think. You see I've connected to a ME interface right here at the bottom corner to pull out of that stuff over there and bring it back over this ME interface. And I'm going to set a sag mill right here that's going to process all of the gravels and sand ores. We're looking here, we've got tons of those. So it's going to have quite a backlog when I first put it on, but it's going to process all these ex nihilo gravel ores and all of the sand ores. Yeah, hit the backspace instead there. Sand. Whereas I only have like, oh, I have ardite sand. Interesting. Yeah, the only thing that now we come out here, I've done quite a bit of preparation work out here. Get rid of this guy before he ruins my day by swooping in the middle of while I'm trying to explain something. There we go. Got rid of him. So let's come out here and look at what I did to the high oven. Basically what I've done is I've automated all the basic 9 metals. The only thing I haven't automated, so there's basically a total of 11 metals total that you could run through this. The basic 9 don't include ardite and cobalt. I did not do those. So we look up here. Each one of these casting bins will only accept one type of metal. What's shooting at me? Oh, the big giant zombie. Will only accept one type of metal based on the fluid duct and I have a pneumatic servo in each one of these connections to each one of the casting basins. And I left a spot up there for the ardite and cobalt later if I do decide to automate those. I don't know that I'm going to really get enough of them to be concerned with automating them, and I've left the device which I was basically using in order to be able to program each one of these. I'm going to go through that one time. I've done all of the metals except for iron. So let's go ahead and put the iron in here. Oh, that was, yeah, probably not the best time to be doing this at nighttime. There's a lot of mobs around here. A lot of mobs. I gotta keep my eyes on the sky for for the gas. Anyway, I've installed a switch over here because whenever this is running and I'm actually actively running one of the sifting systems, I know that there's stuff going into it. I'm gonna want to just turn it on, leave it on. For that, and I've got 64 blocks of charcoal in here. You might have noticed down in the crafting thing, I taught it how to make charcoal blocks. And this right here, this export bus goes into this scorched duct, which is set to load the firebox, basically. And it's set to export blocks of charcoal. So I can just craft any blocks of charcoal I craft up with the ME system. It'll go ahead and create blocks of charcoal and export them out here to the high oven. I could actually even automate this and tell it to keep a certain amount in there, but no need right now. 64 blocks of charcoal is going to last quite a while, so I can just every now and then tell it to go ahead and craft them, and it'll just do it. So here you can see I've got a export bus. This is where I'm actually going to set up all of the different dusts in here, and I'll put this scorched duct on the corner. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to use a second input bus on this side of the duct and still be able to get stuff into it without having to actually put it directly into that little hole that shows on there, you know. So hopefully I can get 2 import buses onto that, and that's going to take care of every one of the metals between them, because each one of these has 8 slots for 8 different item types that it can export. The precision ones do. The basic ones only have 1 slot. The precision ones are a little bit cheaper than the fuzzy ones because the fuzzy takes an advanced circuit, whereas the precision takes only a basic circuit in order to upgrade it and get 8 slots, but it doesn't give you the option of being fuzzy, as in fuzzy detection. So not necessary for me because all the dusts are going to be pretty much exactly the same. That's what I want. Okay. So yeah, connected it over, connected down, and you can see right here the interface. I was underneath this a minute ago. That is where all of the blocks of metal are getting pulled out into an item conduit. Now you could, or an item duct, or an item conduit, whichever. This is conduit. If you use duct, you just have to. You won't be able to do the 2 cords in 1 space trick that I'm doing right here. You have to arrange it slightly differently. But basically, same concept without the lag. Okay, let's see. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how I have been automating this. So you spread this iron out in there. It's going to start melting down. Now you can see this is 1 casting basin. I currently have it on export. Now when I first started this up, when I first put this together, I put them all to pull out until I am ready to have them accept the fluid that's going to be eventually going into them. So that was fully heated, so it shouldn't take very long for it to melt down the first bit of iron. Iron does take quite a bit of time to heat up, though. So as soon as some iron shows up in this tank here, and actually once I do this one, I'm pretty much done with the tank, and I can remove this little connection here. This is only to set up to allow me to program all of the fluid duct connections. And they're all set to whitelist, and each one of them is set to whitelist a different metal for each bend. So you see this one's gold. That's the gold casting basin. And I think this one's probably tin. Okay. silver, etc. Each one's a separate one, and it'll only go into that basin. As soon as the metal block forms, it'll pull it out and go back into the ME system. So any moment now. What's taking so long? Where's the iron going? Oh, it's actually the iron's in that tube. So as soon as I allow it into the, yeah, there we go. As soon as I allow it in there, it's going to fill it up. I'm going to get a bucket of that out, bucket of molten iron out. Open up this fluid filter and tell it whitelist only molten iron. And then now that the whitelist is all set up, I can go ahead and flip that so that it will now start putting the iron in. And now I can also set this to export the molten metal back into the fluid duct and put this bucket back in there. And in fact, now that that is empty, I can go ahead and remove it. And now I don't really need that piece of duct either. So that's all done. That's programmed for the 9 basic metals. Like I said, there are 2 other ones, cobalt and ardite, but I have not set those up yet. And then I'm going to need to get another export bus in order to handle the 9th metal and possibly the 10th and 11th if I do the ardite. So let's go down and see if we can get that started. Plus I need to get a sample of each one of the dusts so I can go ahead and program that. And that's basically the only reason I left this open is so I can show you these recipes. So let me clear that up real quick and get a piece of flooring to put back in there. There we go. Piece of floor. That back in there. There. Very good. So now, yeah, I was checking a recipe there. Just making sure that machine chassis were still craftable. And with the correct recipe, you need a circuit for those. So if I go, I know I'm going to need an interface. Because the interface is part of the import and output. Import buses and export buses, they all start with an interface. So we can go ahead and tell it to make an interface. And it should go ahead and craft all that stuff. Let's see, what's it waiting on? Waiting for some glass. It's going to make a conversion matrix, and now there should be an interface in here. Yeah, there is. Great! Looks like that went pretty well. So what I actually want is an export bus. And since I only need one more type of dust, I could probably get by with just a basic export bus on that one side. Yeah, pistons are another thing that you use a lot of. Pistons, chests, those things are all been added to this. You know, so I got sticky pistons, basic pistons, chest, sticks, wood. The basics are all in there right now. I've got some more blanks ready to go, all ready to add more crafting. I'm going to get a lot more auto crafting going with the ME system now that I have that going. I might as well do it up in style. So we need all the dust. We need some of the tin dust. Let's see, we need some tin dust, silver dust. We should have like 9 different kinds of dust. Aluminum dust. We're not going to do the cobalt. We're not going to do anything with the cobalt right now. Regular dust, gold dust, iron dust. Let's see, what's that? 6. Am I missing tin? Missing something, copper. Lead? I don't think I got lead, did I? No. Lead, okay, and then the other 2 dusts are, let's see, there's, well, let's look at the gravels. Because some of the things do not come out of dust by themselves. You have to grind them down from the gravel version in order to get the dust version. So we want to look at nickel. We just need a few of it. We'll get 4 of that. Nickel and platinum is the other one. That's the shiny, that's what comes out as shiny metal. So in order to get their dust form, we're going to go ahead and run them through the sag mill. You could also do the pulverizer. So we'll show that. Just put those in the pulverizer. See how long that takes. Sag mill is a bit faster when it's fully upgraded. And you get the same percentage of secondaries. Now there are a couple bugs in my current Ender.io file, and that's going to be updated here. I believe I'm going to get that update out with the next video. So there's going to be a couple bug fixes in the configs, and I'm going to add some stuff. And I'm going to be making the sag mill An alloy smelter, just a little bit harder to make, a little more materials are going to need to go into those because they are considerably better than their counterparts. So the price needs to reflect that. A couple people have mentioned it, and I have a good idea of how I want to balance those out a little bit better. So yeah, expect a new version of the Ender.io configs for adding Ender.io to Crash Landing in the next video. I should have that ready to go at that time. So now if we look at sands, because we got to take the nickel sand, and the other sand ended up in here, platinum sand, and go ahead and sag those again. And that's going to give us the dust. So now we got platinum dust and nickel dust. Okay, so there's all my 9 different types of material. So let's go on over here and see if we can get this. Let's see, we have the one basic export bus. Let's see if we put that there and we connect it with some conduit and then tell this to go ahead and export iron. Is it going in there? It is going in there, so it doesn't matter what side you put it on. That's good. So that one will do the iron, and this one will do all the other 8. There we go. And that should go ahead and start filling this up with all the different types of ore dust. We can go ahead and just toss these in there, what'll fit. And those are going to end up going into the high oven, start melting down and giving me the liquid out, automatically getting pulled out into whatever various casting basin they are, made into blocks, and sent back into the ME system. So that's pretty much the high oven fully automated. The dusts and stuff are all going to end up in the system thanks to the auto packager and this ME interface. It sits over here beside the gold chest that collects all the stuff that comes out of the sieve. So yeah, all I need to do is to set up that sag mill that's going to be basically dedicated to doing nothing but turning the gravels and sand ores into their dust versions and such. Now, you may have noticed that you sometimes get byproducts over here of broken, not what is it called, sand? Ore. Here we go. Crushed ores and dusts. So what I might want to do is somehow I need to get this, and this thing is in a really cramped position, so it's probably going to have to go right onto the front of this. Some kind of interface, possibly a storage bus. And I'm going to need a bunch of storage buses, so this might be a good one to teach to over here. So if we go storage bus is basically an interface with a couple extra bits, and go ahead and code that one. That's one we're going to be needing a bunch of because I want to storage bus some of these barrels, and I'm going to have to rearrange these because I think I want all the ones that I want to put the storage buses on over here in this general area. So these 10, I don't feel like I would need to storage bus the salt or the rotten flesh, probably not the bones and arrows, or the feathers. So I definitely want to storage bus the nether quartz. Maybe that kind of quartz, maybe not, because I got this, and I can easily make this into that, and vice versa if I needed to. Definitely want to storage bus the diamonds, the redstone, and the emeralds, and probably the lapis lazuli. The rest of the stuff that's over here, not probably too important. So yeah, I want to move some things that aren't important from this general area, move them over here, move these things back over there, and then put storage buses back in here, because obviously this is an easy place for me to get to right now, and kind of always intended to put some storage buses on some of these barrels, just not all of them. And I also want to get some storage buses on this sand and this cobblestone over here. So let's need a total of, let's see, that's 10, 2 there at least, so I need at least 12 storage buses. So well, actually, I made the recipe, but I didn't put it in the machine yet, so that's why I can't figure it out why. That's why I couldn't find it in there. So we go ahead and bring that down here and put that into the assembly molecular assembly chamber. I should now be able to ask it to go ahead and to craft me 12 of those, and it should get to that. And if it needs particular parts and stuff, it should be able to craft them, and I can always come here and check. See, there's something missing. I'm missing plastic sheets, so I haven't taught that to the system yet. So I've got a bunch of rubber. I could probably go ahead and tell it that, here, I'm going to need to move that again. So let's go ahead and toss some of this in, which is going to make raw plastic. So I can come over here and say clear that. I can tell this one raw rubber bar makes one plastic, and that can be done with a sag mill. Then I can also tell it that 4 of these will make plastic sheets, and I don't really want to use my other plastics up out of there. Hopefully it will ignore the fact that it has all those colored plastics. If it doesn't and ends up using those up, that's not too big of a deal, because I want to set this up to be able to auto-craft some more of those colored plastics anyway eventually. So let's go ahead and toss this recipe in here. And finally, let's also let it know that raw rubber. Oops, I'm going to need some more blanks. I ran out. So we'll get a few more blanks. Maybe. If I have the stuff, I have enough to make at least one. So clear that recipe. Raw rubber will make rubber bars. And that also happens in the sag mill. That's going to run out of the interface real fast. I may have to use the second sag mill for more recipes. Okay, let me drop down here and get that to put it back in there. Okay, so now, there we go. Now it knows how to make everything. It's just moving right along. Now it knows how to make plastic. It can do that. Very good. And put these things away. If you leave stuff in your crafting grid right here, the system doesn't have access to that. So you always want to make sure you clear those. I do forget to do that quite often, and then wonder, then you go to another crafting grid and you can't access the stuff that's in the one downstairs or wherever. So yeah, you want to try to remember to clear those whenever you can, or you get frustrated looking for your stuff. So yeah, it's buzzing right along, making me some interfaces. While it's doing that, I need to make a sag mill. And might as well do this. Gosh, no, I'm gonna hold off on making that because I want to use the new recipe, and basically it's gonna cost more, but I want to show that recipe off later in the next episode when I make it. So we'll do all the processing of that in a new episode, because it's not much, but it's just a matter of setting up a few things. Maybe I could set it up as a pulverizer for the time being. Do I have an extra pulverizer? I don't, but they are cheap to make. Flint, and just need some flint. There we go. This should be all the flint the ME system ever needs. So we'll just use a pulverizer for the time being, and I'll set up that sag mill later. Pulverizer, remember, it does the same thing. It's just not quite as fast if it's not fully upgraded. Now it's faster than a standard sag mill without the capacitor upgrade. Without this capacitor upgrade over here, this thing is only about a fourth the speed. So Yeah, I definitely want to have that. So I need 2 export buses. Possibly 3 export buses. Actually, pretty sure 3 export buses. So I'm going to need these guys. Do I have this? Well, this is busy making those other things still. What's it down to 4 of them? And I ran out of sand, so I can put. This is another reason I need these buses. Go ahead and get this hooked up over here first. So I need a way to get over there with the cable. So I can get this cable to go basically right under there. I need to get a way back in there. Probably go over the top of it. Ah. Where's my jetpack? Okay. I'm just going to go right over the top of these guys. Get down in. I don't want to break that one. Okay. Actually, I do want to break that one. So this is going to get a storage bus. Now, the thing I want to do with these storage buses, actually, this one here. No, this one. Yeah, this one here. This is the. I'm just going to make this one extract only because it's cobblestone and the system will get confused trying to put cobblestone in there. Actually, it doesn't even need to be extract only because it's always going to fill up before it has a chance to put anything back in it anyway. We'll leave it bidirectional. Same with the sand, but on the sand I actually want to increase the priority a bit so that all sand ends up in this barrel if there's space anyway. So now all I need to do is get one more hole here and go like that, and there we go. Those should be connected to the system now. Let's fill this back in with. I'll fill it back in with the cobblestone bricks. There we go. So those should now be connected, and now anytime I come over here and look at sand, I can now see the total amount of sand that's in that barrel, and same with cobble. Gonna have plenty of cobble to work with at any given time. So there we go. That looks good. The next thing will be to connect all these guys over here, and those are just going to be a matter of putting these guys down like so, and then I'm probably just going to route the conduit right along here with this. I might actually come down right here. Yeah. Hopefully I have enough conduit for all this. And get that to go out that direction. I still have the jetpack on, I do, but there we go. At least to there. I think that's all the further I need it, and then I just come right there. Should connect in. I should do the top first. That's not a big deal. Again, these are going to be ones that I tell it a higher priority on. Can I get to the ones on the top? Not really. Not without moving these ones first. Well, here, let's move this one temporarily. Well, actually, these are not the barrels I want over here. So maybe I need to go ahead and move those at this point. This is going to be interesting because it's going to mess with the system a little bit. Hopefully it's not too big a problem. So redstone definitely needs to come over here. Grab my chisel there. It ended up on the floor somehow. Arrows do not need to be over there. Bring them over here. Put redstone up there. Right, bones don't need to be over here. But lapis definitely needs to be over here. And bones can go back there. Okay, so gunpowder, that's iffy. Definitely don't need zombie flesh over here. So zombie flesh can go where emeralds was at. There we go. Definitely don't need feathers, I don't think. But diamonds needs to be over here. Finally, the other two that I want to move over to there are these guys. What am I going to take out? I'm going to take out the salt for sure. Salt. And then, what's the other one I don't really necessarily need over here the most? Between gunpowder and better barrel, or between gunpowder and bone meal. I don't know. I'm thinking probably the bone meal less important than, because I might auto craft some gunpowder stuff out of gunpowder. I'm not sure what at this time, but I might. So I'm gonna leave that one over here. That looks good. That looks good. So those will be the ones that I put the overheating from where my rocket pack. So yeah, those will be the ones that I put the storage vessels. And by the way, when you're down here, when you're anywhere near this reactor, it really overheats you. That's a real tendency to overheat you. So it's always a good idea. It's a good idea to, if you're going to be working around a reactor, I suggest using one of them, those fire resistance potions. You know, that's probably the other thing I need to. That'd be the other great thing to do, is set this up so that it would auto make fire resistance potions and keep one in my inventory at all times. So yeah, there's the next thing I'll probably add to the refiller subroutine on that system. All right, we're looking good. We've got the high oven completely automated now, and it is probably just cranking stuff out, I would imagine. Oh yeah, we can see that it's melting all kinds of metals and trying to yeah, get those out and back into the system. It's going to get there. So the next thing I wanted to make, something I wanted to make last episode and just kind of got sidetracked and didn't get done at all, was a drive. It was the I/O port, which requires 2 drives. That's why I was thinking about drives. The I/O port requires 2 ME drives, and each of those require 2 of these basic circuits. So in order to make this, I'm going to need 5 of these basic circuits. So shouldn't it be able to make those? What are they called? CPU? No? Processor. There's what it's called. There's 1 in there right now, so I can go ahead and tell it to make me 4 more. And that's going to allow it, while it's working on that, I'll go ahead and get the rest of these storage buses installed. 1 in there. What's this making right now? Oh, it says it needs nether quartz dust. So I don't have that one programmed at all. So the only thing I can do for that is just to go ahead and put some manually in the sag mill right now at this time. Later on I will teach it how to make that. Actually, do I have a blank? No. I should probably teach it how to make the blank patterns too. Apparently I'm low on iron. I sure am. Let's go ahead and get some more iron because we've got plenty of iron blocks now. Eventually I'll teach it how to convert all of the iron blocks in its system into ingots down here using this thing, so that it can go ahead and complete crafting recipes. So now what's it asking for? Okay. So now it's having to actually use this to make parts. Let's see, let's look up here. How's this doing? Okay, so it's got some stuff in it right now. It's getting injected. Yeah. This looks like it's working pretty good, actually. So yeah, that's going to eventually make up all the parts, and then it's going to make the printed circuit board, make the PRX 100, make the basic processor, finish up this last storage thing, and then I believe I have some more processors queued up, so yeah, looking pretty good. Okay, I removed that one already, but I need my jetpack to get up in there. Let's get these ones installed down here first. And like I said, each one of these, I want to set these to have a higher priority than the standard drives over there, the combined drives. Because if it can fit in the barrel, I want it to go in the barrel. Apparently, there's some more storage buses in here. Plus, there's one in there, one there. I guess that one's pre-configured. So, and is it still working on crafting the one more here? Yes, it is. Did I miscount over here? Yes, I did. So I need two more, actually, beyond what I thought I did. So go ahead and tell it to craft me two more of those. And now it needs redstone because I don't have that connected right now. Well, that's easy to fix. Instead of like moving some over there, I can just go ahead and do that and set this priority up. And now the system should have access to all that redstone. Shouldn't need redstoning now. Right, good. It doesn't. Not asking for it anymore. It's looking pretty good. It's almost done with these. It's probably going to have used up some of those those processors I asked for a minute ago, unfortunately, so I'll have to ask for them again. So let's make sure I get the priority set higher than standard on all these. I already did that one. And then finally, that one and that one. That should connect all the top row now. And those should all be prioritized. Yes, they are. This one needs priority. Okay. And so one more storage bus, and those will all be connected. Looking good. I love the auto crafting system, especially now that all that circuitry can be done in the crafting system. I don't have to worry about all that crafting, all that little stuff. Anything done in the pressure chamber, it just goes ahead and takes care of all of it automatically for me. All I gotta do is say, make me circuits. Speaking of circuits, of course, like I said, like I suspected, those three of those ones that I asked for earlier got used in making the storage buses. It says they're in here, I'm gonna use them. So I have to tell it to make some more. So it's gone ahead and put some more stuff into the pressure chamber, and those will be crafted up here in a second. And then I'll be able to get these drives sorted out a little bit. Of course, right now they're saying that they're not too bad, basically because I've been moving things in and out. Also because I've processed all that metal. A lot of what was probably jamming that up was some of the dusts and stuff. Oh yeah, one other thing I was thinking is I want to create some kind of storage bus for this chest right here that will basically attempt to store all of any of the stuff that's currently in here. I'll pull these two things out. Don't want that. So we look at sand. What's it? Pulverized. Pulverized. What's the other? We look at ore. There we go. Crushed. Pulverized and crushed. Ore bits. We want those to end up back in this chest over here instead of going back into the drives over here. That way, the auto packager can go ahead and do its job and put them, craft those up into whatever and put them into that one. Okay, this dust is not the same thing. This is not X-Nilo. See, it's thermal expansion dust. That's actually used for crafting the stuff, the Enderium blend. So I don't want that over here. But pulverized nickel, pulverized tin. As long as it says X-Nilo or X-Aliquo on it, it should end up in this box over here. Or there's a way to set the storage bus to do that by mod. Hopefully those CPU things are ready to go now. Let's check it out. Let's just look at the I/O port, which is what I'm trying to craft here. So I'm going to need some glass. Let's just tell it to go ahead and craft me 64 regular glass. Glass doesn't stick around very long, unfortunately. Use a lot of it in crafting. So I need 1, 2 of those. And then finally I should have, I think I should have everything else for this. Yes, I do. I/O port. Excellent. So this thing's going to help me a little bit in the sense, I'm just going to go right up there, in the sense that it'll allow me to go ahead and flush out these 1Ks into the 4Ks, and it should stack things up a little bit better when I do that. So finally go ahead and tell it to drain these all empty, and I'll move the stuff back into the system, storing in the 4Ks. Yep, they're all empty now. And now I can go ahead and put these back in here, and they'll start filling up with new unique items. So these, they should have stacked up a little bit better in here. You can see that none of the maximum amount of bytes is used. So all the big stacks of stuff should have ended up in there. And little stacks of things, as they move in and out of the system, will end up back in the 1Ks, which is fine. Just a quick way that you can manipulate your drive. You can also take stuff out of your system. You can get a partition editor and change these so that they only accept specific items. And there's all kinds of fun things you can do to manipulate the digital storage in ME things. One of the things that I haven't messed with and I might end up messing with because one of the viewers suggested it and I want to show real quick is what's called empty something. Empty, there it is, right there. Empty ME block container. This guy right here apparently will hold a lot more than barrel. It'll hold just a ton of stuff. It'll hold a 64K or 64, but it'll only hold one block type. So like if you want, you could have like cobblestone in one, or you could have, and it'll go in these drive slots just like your ME drive slots. So you can make a drive bank to hold 10 of those, and it would basically hold like 10 really big barrels of stuff, which could replace some of these barrels. But that's why I set these up a while ago. There's no point in changing it around at this point. If I find that I need to have a massive amount of storage for a particular item in the future that I don't already have a barrel for, I will probably use those drives because that's pretty cool. They're pretty cool. Right there, 64. Basically, they're basically the equivalent of, if we look at storage, they're the equivalent of the 64K right here. See, it has the same amount of bytes, but it'll only accept one type, basically one block, one kind of block. Be it soul sand or cobblestone or whatever. It'll only accept one thing. Instead, this accepts 63 different types of things. So, yeah. And then you get into the other extra utility cells. They get really crazy. We're not even going to worry about that, I don't think. And there's some other interesting things. You can add security to your ME system. I shouldn't have to worry about that because I have it protected by my security system over here. So nobody can even access the terminals, I don't think. Okay, so yeah, that should help out. So there we go. All the automations, as much. I'm gonna keep adding automations, obviously, but this is pretty much everything I want to get automated at this point. It's got circuitry automated. All the technology parts are fairly well automated. And yeah, all the final processing part of cooking the ore down and everything, that's all now automated. And if we look in here, oh yeah, we got tons of dust going, so I'm just going to let that go. It's going to be pouring blocks of metal for a while, putting them back into the system. Because it's severely backlogged. Oh, yeah, let's finish setting up this thing back in here, because I need this to go ahead and I need the two sides to be the input and the top to be the, there we go, the top to be the output. Because I should already have, yeah, and it is. The item duct is already connected to that. That's going to send the items that come out of there back into the system to that interface. So all I need is 2 export buses. Let's see if we can get the system to craft those for us, or partially craft them for us. So I'm going to need some interfaces. I need at least 2 of these, one for each export bus. Probably going to need to go ahead, yeah, it's going to need to make stuff in the pressure chamber, yep. Well, it's going to take a moment as it puts all that stuff into there. So, other thing that I'm going to need for the export buses. If I look at export, I want 2 precision export buses. That'll give me a total of 16 different things. I actually probably need 3 total in order to get it all said and done. Because yeah, there's what, 9 different types of ore gravel and 9 different types of sand gravel, which gives me a total of 18. So I'm going to need at least 3 of these. So let me go ahead and tell it to make another interface while I'm at it. Oops. Craft me another one of those while you're at it. Machine. So export. We go ahead and make the basic export bus. Put that back in there. We're going to need a circuit for this. Oh no, processor. Let's get, actually, tell this to craft me 10 of these. Just go craft me 10 of those. I'll need them eventually. While it's doing that, there's something else that I really want to make that's just fun. It's an Ender IO thing, but it's really fun. It's kind of expensive. You let me know if you think it's expensive enough, because this is one of the things I'm kind of debating on, whether I truly made it as expensive enough for what it does. So we want to look at the staff of traveling. Let's look at the cost on this. It doesn't look like too much. It's octadic capacitor. Those are kind of expensive in their own right, because, you know, a bunch of vibrant alloy, double layers, a bunch of electrical steel. That's just a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. That kind of makes it expensive. But if we look at the vibrant crystal, I have greatly increased the cost on this. It's 2 PLRC LX300 logic chips. I should have those in there. I do. What I don't have is the vibrant alloy. Do I have, actually, maybe I do have enough for this. So there we go. I can make a 1 vibrant crystal. Great. That's very expensive. And then I need an octadic capacitor. Okay, well, I've got all the stuff for this, I hope. Do I have any of these? No. I don't have none of that stuff. So I'm going to need some electrical steel. Ooh. Electrical steel is maybe time to make a new recipe. Let's look at that. Let's get some blanks. Get a couple of these. Because I'm going to want to be able to make electrical steel, which is coal powder, silicon, and iron. And that's going to give me this, this, and this. Go ahead and put those in the alloy smelter. This, and that. Come on, go in there. Wait, no, maybe it's just regular coal? Maybe it's just regular coal. I get the Ender IO versions mixed up a lot because there's a lot of changes between 164 and 172. Ah, there you go, regular coal. Let's change that over here. Regular coal. Electrical steel. There we go. If I put those three things in, I'll get electrical steel back. And this recipe needs to go in there. I'm running out of spaces there for sure. Definitely going to need to get a second alloy smelter if I want to add any more alloy smelter recipes via interface, because there's really no other sides for me to access on this unless I put it right on the front, and that won't look very good. I won't be able to get to the machine itself, because I still want to be able to manually load this right here, because it's my workspace. I'll put that there temporarily so I don't fall through. So now I should be able to make electrical steel. Craft me, what do I need? Total of 11 more, I think. Yeah. So now, capacitor, I need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those to make 2 of those to make 1 of those. So now I should be able to make, not quite, I need more. I need to wait for this to get done. And while that's getting done, is this getting done? I need silicon. Okay, that's going to require some quartz. Let's see, Certus quartz dust in here. Yeah. Alloy smelter is about to get another recipe, and then it's going to be full. Clear that. This is going to be, that's going to make silicon. That's not going to make the other kind of silicon though. Toss, whoops, not into there. Get that Certus quartz back and put it into the actual alloy smelter this time. There we go. Put it in there. That's going to make silicon. And then I'm going to teach this that this is how it can make more for itself later when it needs to make these circuits for me. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that should proceed now to continue to make all those circuits, because now I can figure out how to make silicon. Although it's going to make a full stack, because I put a stack of Certus quartz in there. Anyway, back to the capacitors. While that's working away, I can continue work on the staff of traveling. So, oh no, I have basic capacitors. I need the double layers. I need 2 of those, 1, 2, which I then can use to make the octadic capacitor. Very nice. So now I should have everything except for maybe another piece of electrical steel. Craft me 1 more piece of this. And hopefully it's already done with the other stuff. Yeah, it was already done with the other stuff. So, staff of traveling, electrical steel, vibrant crystals should be in there, octadic capacitor should be in there. There it is. The coveted staff of traveling. Yeah, I might need to make that harder. It needs to be on the order of a resonant jetpack, because it is that good. Except now I need a place to charge it up. I think probably could be charged in here. Yes. The energetic infuser will charge it. Very nice. So what's this do? What's this thing do? Well, say I want to be underground right here. Actually, let's say this was closed and I didn't have access to it. I can zip right through the wall. Zip through the floor. Zip up into the air. It's basically, it gives you a short-range teleport by itself. Now, when you combine this with traveler anchors right here, and these are also kind of expensive to make. Not nearly as bad, but the traveler anchor, you can then teleport between anchors. Like when you have the staff of traveling in your hand, you can see the anchors that would be anywhere, like underground or way up in the air. And you can use the staff of traveling to zip right to them. In fact, why don't I make a couple of those? Hopefully, it's probably going to take a little bit longer to make those circuits. So, do I have any of this stuff? I do not. So I need pulsating iron, which is just iron sagged, or not, alloy smelted with some ender pearls. So some ender pearls, some iron, and it's already running low on iron again? Wow. There we go. Get some more iron in the system. So 16 ender pearls. Did I not actually grab the iron? And we'll go ahead and make up a whole bunch of pulsating alloy. While it's doing that, anchor. That's what I'm trying to make. So these should be some in there now. Go ahead and get a bunch of that. Go ahead and make a few pulsating crystals. 1, 2. Got at least I want to at least have 2 to demonstrate this with. I should now be able to make 2 traveling anchors. Awesome. There they are. So travel anchor 1 is going to be for right here. Good spot. Get me into the basement of my place. Come down here and grab these up. Traveler anchor 2. Let's come up here. Let's go get my jetpack out and head up over here for a second. The Traveler Anchor 2 can be up in here. We'll just put it right there. Kind of in the middle of this. Pretty close. Pretty close to the middle. It shouldn't be an exact middle because it should be an even number. So now whenever I'm holding my staff of traveling, see I can see that anchor down there, and I can just click it, and now I'm down here in the basement. And I'm back up here. Basically, it's like an elevator, except it works at angles and over a much greater distance than an elevator, but it also costs you a little bit of power every time you use the staff of traveling. So there it is. I think that the staff of traveling will also charge back up off of the flux capacitor, maybe. Let's see here. Try using it. Maybe not. Oh, nope. Yes, it does. So there you go. Very long range transportation. Yeah, those are great. So yeah, I'll probably start using those a little bit now. All that's Ender IO stuff, so sorry guys for those of you who don't play with it. But maybe that'll inspire you to want to play with it, because it is fun stuff. So yeah, what did I have left? There was one other thing I was trying to do before I... Oh yeah, the export buses, and then we're going to call it quits after that. So export buses, should be able to make one of these now. Should be able to make another one of these now. Actually, 2 of those. Give me 2 more precision buses for a total of 3. Come on back in here to this pulverizer. That's going to go there, there, and I need one right on the bottom too, because it's going to go ahead and import from the bottom as well. Yeah, we'll use this stuff right here. Okay, so then I just need to tell it all the different gravels go in there. All the different, let's see, aluminum gravel, copper gravel, gold, not regular gravel, iron, lead, nickel, platinum, silver. It should be 9 total, 10. Yep, there we go. All these guys are going to go in there. And get this back on there. Camel pack back on. I'll be able to move okay here again in a second as soon as my heat stroke wears off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9th one can go there. That's going to break those down into their sand versions. And the other thing I'm going to want to do is get that import bus on that thing over there, or the storage bus. Okay, craft me 1 more of these. So yeah, now once I get a bunch of sands, I'll go ahead and program that. We're not going to worry about that right now. Hopefully, can it make the bus? It has to make a few bits and pieces to make that bus, I guess. Or is it still working on making the basic processor? I bet it used one of the processors that was in there to make the bus. It did. Good. So this bus is going to go right here. And it's going to, I want to configure it based on the current item stored. That's going to help. That gives me a bunch of things on there already that I don't have to add to that. And then I want anything ore, like this guy here, crushed aluminum. Any of these ones that come out of the thing over there. Can't really pick these up and move them around, but now I just need a way to connect this. So somewhere along the line I stuck my, where'd it go? My pick. Yeah, in the ME system. Whoops. So yeah, we can go right here. Should be able to connect to there like so. Go to there. There's already, whoops, forgot. I got another layer of flooring down here. Let's just nerd pull up so we can kind of get into here. Yeah, there we go. We can see in there now. Bring that down and over. There we go. That should connect it. Connect to the rest of the system now. They keep forgetting I put that new sub basement down there. Now all I need is a conduit cover to cover that back up to make it look like, you know, basically the rest of the wall. So now this needs to I need to give this some extra priority so that it will attempt to store this stuff in here before it stores it anywhere else in the system. So that stuff shouldn't end up in our drives up here. It should end up in that chest, and only the stuff that I listed on this storage partition will be accepted into here. Right? Yeah, bidirectional, but that just means you can take things out, put things in. So it should attempt to always store incoming crushed dust or any of the little ore bits, basically, from the X-Nilo mod. Uh-oh. Oh, there's a little bit of a delay there when I'm trying to open my inventory. Thought it was going to crash out for a second. But I think that's going to be about it for today, guys. Yeah, I kind of showed you all the automations that I got going on now at the base. It's heavily automated using the ME system, and Steve's factory manager is mixed into in there a bit, and just all the automations. And I think I mentioned something else I was going to do with the refilling subroutines down there. Oh, it's telling me I'm hungry. That's the problem. That's why I can't move fast. Get over here, get some food, feed me. There we go. Delighted meal, my favorite. Okay, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure and leave a like, comment, thumbs up, and all that fun stuff. If you didn't, go ahead and leave me a comment anyway. Tell me how you think I could do better next time. Until then, I will catch you later.